Welcome to Destination Staffordshire's storytelling webinar. Storytelling and the power of the written word is so important, although it's not always about the written word. This webinar is across three different parts. And in part one, we talked about uncovering your story and the importance of defining what your story is and understanding the importance of your story and understanding how it connects with your customers and really helps build relationship and connection in your business. We also in part two then talked about defining brand, and we talked about the values, the voice and the vocabulary you use in your brand and the importance of defining your audience and understanding what they bring to your business and why they are important in your business and how they link up with your story and your brand. So in part three, we're going to talk about how to tell and to sell your story to benefit your business. So telling or selling your story is so important. We've already discussed how important it is to have story. We've discussed the benefits that small business have over big corporates to understand what the story is and to have an authentic and genuine story to tell. And we've also talked about how telling that story and connecting with your audience is the best way to create success from your marketing activities and to gain more business, because humans are still looking for humans. They look for human interaction, even in the digital world. They want to feel like they've built relationship with a business, and they want to feel that they trust you to deliver the kinds of leisure and tourism experiences that they're looking for, that their hard-earned money is going to be well spent. So understanding ways to tell your story is so important, as well as understanding who you're selling it to and what your story is. So if we think about ways to tell your story, then they are almost limitless. So that can be on social media content, it can be on video channels, it can be on your website, it can be in your leaflets, it can be on your posters, and it can be as part of your email newsletters that you send out to subscribers. It can be as part of a blog that you write. It can be part of a podcast that you produce. It can simply be the story that is shared between customers. So online or offline, the stories that your customers tell about you, stories that are passed on, an ancient tradition that still goes on even with the digital world. So it's really important that you understand all the different ways to tell it, so that the content you provide and the variety that you provide as part of your marketing is engaging, interesting, and builds trust and relationship. It's also really important to understand that all the content that you share and the way that you tell your story is never invaluable, that you can break down that story into chapters and into different series. You can refer back to your story as part of a marketing message. You can allude to your story. You can remind people of your story. You don't have to tell the full story all the time, obviously, but simply your story is about the love and the dedication you have in your business that shows your customers how important you think they are and how authentic and genuine you are as a business. It provides your customers with the kinds of insight that they are looking for that differentiates you from a competitor up the road. It helps differentiate you from a standard non-love, a non-caring business that doesn't really tell you anything about themselves. You don't really get to understand what the story is behind a business or what their brand is. And so it really helps you stay ahead of the game in that way. It also means that you have consistency. So it's important that your story is told consistently across, especially the digital world, but all ways, in order that you can in order that Google can fully understand what your business is, that you're using the same keywords and phrases, and in order that your story and your brand is consistent and easily understandable. From a search engine optimization point of view, all this is crucial. So we've talked about ways that you might like to tell your story, and we'll dig into that a little bit further in the next section, but also where to tell it. I mean, we've talked about, telling a day-to-day story in little series or chapters. We've talked about heading back to the history of your business, or the generations of a family in a business, or different themes that allude to kind of your long-standing understanding of that business, how it relates to your values now, so the evolution of a business, and where you want to get to, and really an ethos of quality and consistency and dedication within a business. We've talked about, and we'll, as I say, we'll dig into this a little bit deeper. We've talked about the different digital ways that you can share your story that provide not only Google with new material and invaluable new material, but also provide your audience with a consistent and ongoing storytelling that they understand. But it isn't always about the telling. It isn't always about selling your story. It's about really listening. If you imagine any two-way conversation that you have with somebody that you care about, and we do care about our audiences, we do care about our guests and potential visitors, is about listening to them and what bits they like about your story, or listen to them about what they need in their lives. This listening really provides a two-way conversation, which, after all, unless you're up on a stage telling a story, is how people tell stories. They tell stories by being interrupted and listening to what somebody else says in response to that, and then telling them the next bit. It isn't usually in one long diatribe of information. It's often that you are breaking off to hear what somebody else has to say before you get on to the next section. So it's important you listen. How do you listen? You listen by looking at what people are saying on social media, reading media articles about the way that tourism is going, understanding what people's needs and frustrations are at any one time, understanding where the economy lies, in order that you understand how people's budgets are affected, what's important in their lives. Is sustainability more important? Is it important that your business is plastic free? Do you need to highlight that part of your story that shows people how much you already commit to the environment, for example, or how much you are committed to a new fun piece of equipment that people have seen somewhere else and would like to have introduced into your business? Really listening and understanding, watching what comments are out there, and understanding where your customers and your audience is coming from, in order that you can not change your story, but maybe highlight a part of your story that really fits in with what they're saying. And also, along with this listening, is the feedback. So as you start to tell your story, you will get feedback from it. People will people will feedback positively to the bits that really inspire them, help them really understand about business, really make them laugh or feel entertained by what you're doing. And with that feedback, it helps you understand which parts of your story are most important to your audience. Because let's face it, not every little bit will be, and often our audience surprises us. So often we look at bits of, or we might experience stories, but we might expect our audience to love one particular aspect, but in fact it's the bit that they don't really mention. But actually there's a funny, quirky bit to your story that you kind of brush over, that you think, may or may not be of any interest to anybody, and that's the bit that people latch onto. So that helps you, again, listen and understand and further refine what's important to your customers, and understand which parts of your story really resonate with them, in order that you are highlighting that to the best of your ability. Because this isn't about picking and choosing and diluting your story. This is simply about understanding which bits of your story really resonate, really help people make that buying decision, and therefore how that story helps your business. So telling that story, we talked roughly about how you could do that. So you can do that on a myriad of different platforms and channels, website, stories. You could do some PR and send some information into local newspapers or national press with the help of maybe Destination Staffordshire. You might decide you can do a radio interview because you've done something particularly interesting. But all of this has got to be around creating engaging content. So it's once you understand and define who your audience is, and once you understand what your brand is, and you can start to build that story into your everyday marketing, then you get feedback and you listen to what people are saying. It helps you refine and improve the way that you create engaging content. It goes without saying that consistent, persistent, and regular content is important. So tell your story with love often. It could be as part of a blog or a vlog. This provides fantastic opportunities with regards to sharing content. It gives you a fantastic source of content for little snippets on social media or in emails. It also, especially for those of you who have a blog within your website, it really provides excellent link through to your website. It provides fantastic SEO opportunities, search engine optimization opportunities, because you are sharing keywords and key phrases. But also it helps Google understand that your website, for example, has lots more indexed pages. Therefore, it has lots more information and up-to-date information and regularly changing information to crawl over your website and therefore offer your website as a trusted, good quality, highly interesting piece of content to their users as part of a search. So it goes without saying that your content needs to be engaging. So something like a blog works. Videos, we already know, are huge within the leisure and tourism industry, because it really not only it helps people not have to read the words all the time, but actually hear the story or see the story. You don't even need to go into the story in detail, but does this show people what the story is? So, for example, we talked about earlier in part 2 about maybe you tell the story on a day-to-day basis about life at in a diversified farm where there's holiday accommodation, but there are still lambs and animals. Obviously, sharing videos of those lambs going out onto the grass for the first time, or those lambs being fed with bottles or being cuddled by an existing guest, say so much about your story without you having to write a word, but might well be the part of the story that you get feedback from and listen to that really is what people love, and you can do more of that. You can create and refine and engage your content even further. Also think about creating engaging content that breaks down your story into chapters or into series or into little themes. So you might have quite a different parts of your story, which has got a bit of history, a bit of your beginnings, a bit of the day-to-day now and your hopes for the future. You might decide that those are 4 different little areas that you can dip into depending on which piece of content and marketing you're sharing out there. So this gives you the opportunity to share snippets. Create that engaging content through images, obviously, video, obviously, using those key brand words, obviously, but also keeping it in the first person. We have done this. We're excited about that. I developed this. I have understood this. It really helps people understand that there is a human element behind. And again, further provides Google with good quality material that they understand that this is a story that is being told again and again, and that is providing a good quality result for their users. Also understanding, and we talked about this in part 1 and part 2, let's revisit it now, talking about how the story relates to your potential visitors and customers. We understand who they are because in part 2 we define them. We understand who your visitors are and exactly what their needs and wants are, and what their problems and challenges are, what they are looking for from you. What do they need from you in order to feel fulfilled and that they've had an exceptional experience with you? So which bits of your story links with theirs? We've mentioned that it's important to listen and to look at feedback and to understand. So which bits of their story really resonate? And as we've already said, it may well be something that is unexpected, a part of your story that you thought was the dull bit, but in fact is the bit that really lights up your audience and really engages them. So don't be afraid to really focus in on that and maybe think to yourself how you can bring that element of the story out so that it really resonates with them and helps them build relationships, which is the next point. Building relationships is important. You might feel that this is a little bit intense from a leisure and tourism business point of view, but in fact, that's exactly what you're doing, because people are spending their hard-earned money on their leisure activity or their tourism experience with you. They are investing a lot of hopes and dreams into that money that they've spent with you, whether it's to relax, have fun with the family, to share memories with family, whether it's about getting away from it all or having a romantic time with a loved one. Whatever it is, they are investing a lot of hopes and dreams into that. So they need to be able to feel they trust you in order to pay the money. They need to feel confident that you are going to deliver that experience for them. So building that relationship by telling your story and listening to them and being authentic really provides less and less opportunity for something to go wrong, something to be disappointing or not living up to hopes and dreams. And also think about those story elements that can be sold. So we know that small animals and puppies and kittens and chickens works. We know that nature is something people love to be inspired by. We know that beautiful images on Instagram, travel images, sunsets, sunrises, snow pictures, beautiful sunny pictures are things that people aspire to and that people are inspired by on Instagram, for example. We know that video of people having really great fun times, video of being on a roller coaster or experiencing feeding an animal or running around with friends and family or enjoying an ice cream, engenders those feelings of excitement and hopes and dreams and helps people feel connected to your business and therefore more likely to buy, because you are providing them with such engaging information that they trust and understand what you're talking about, and your storytelling really leads to better business. And of course, all this needs to be genuine and authentic. It is vital that none of what you are doing or saying is contrived in any way. And the beauty of small business is that contriving is so much less common compared to big corporates, because there's no need to. It can be exactly what you are and what you say you are. So whenever you tell your story, you can help your audience really take an action. So every time you sell your story or tell your story, each little bit of content, each video, each little bit of Facebook Live, each Instagram story, each bit of post, every vlog that you do, every time you change your website, each time you email out to your subscribers, it's so important that you provide them a very clear opportunity to make a decision about your business, to write a review, to book accommodation, to buy more tickets, to recommend to a friend, to enter your competition, to win a ticket, to watch your video, to share it with somebody else. Give them all those opportunities to therefore engage with your business, buy from your business, and improve your business. So if that's in a blog or if that's on a piece of social media content, provide the button, provide the link. You don't have to be super selly. We want engaging content, not hard sell content. But for example, if you have shared video of the lambs coming out into your field on your farm, and then you can say underneath, and by the way, we have one family room available for this week as a last minute cancellation, just with a click. So all you've done is you shared that element of your story, and you've then provided them an opportunity to get involved with that story by coming along without saying a piece of content that says, we've got a last minute accommodation here, come and stay with us because it's only £200 for the weekend for the family. That's very selly and it doesn't tell the story. Instead, what you've done is shared the videos of the lambs coming out, shared the experience, shared the authentic, genuine reality of your business today, shared your journey, and then you've asked them to join you and said, actually, we do have space this weekend due to a cancellation. And you give them that link. It's not pushy, it's not too salesy, but you're more likely to get a positive result from that, because it is they trust you, they know what's going to happen, they understand that they are going to join in, they feel more inclined and more safe to do that. And they're much more likely then to not only book, but also book because they know exactly what they're getting. And therefore, you're more likely to get a positive review, an advocate in your business. So let's recap then. We've talked about ways to tell and therefore sell your story to benefit your business. Understand what the benefit needs to be. Do you need more footfall? Do you need more bookings? Do you need more profitable customers rather? So do you need the same number of customers, but you need them to spend more with you, to buy more, or add those bespoke extras, whatever it is? Then think about how that story can tell that, or to encourage those people to really want to get on board with your business. Lots of different platforms, so creating engaging and varying content across all your platforms. Think about writing a blog. Think about chapterizing your story. Think about putting it on video and pictures if you don't feel that you are good at the written word. That's absolutely fine. Making sure that that story is told consistently and persistently, again and again, picking out the bits that you know are most valuable to them because you listened and because you looked at the feedback, and that you continue to build relationships while providing them with regular opportunity to take the next step and to buy from you, to book with you, to share with you, to review, etc. So understand what the business need is so that you can provide them with that opportunity to take that action in your business. So thank you so much for watching all 3 parts of the storytelling in your business, and take those next steps to define those stories and start to tell your story, because it will be so valuable to your business and your bottom line. Thank you.